watching CBS 8 Mornings at 6.
And we begin with a weather impact alert as Santa Ana winds pick up here today. The city of San Diego says try not to park under trees. You can report fallen branches on the city's Get It Done app. And SDG&E says they don't expect any public safety power shutoffs, saying the wildfire risk is lower after all the rain we've seen. But unplanned outages are still possible. Thanks for joining us here. It's Friday. It's 6 a.m. So glad you're with us. I'm Eric Connor.
And I'm Netta Iranpour. And with that wind, you know things are going to fly around.
Right.
So let's get prepared. Meteorologist Evan Irani joining us. How strong are these winds today?
We could get up to 60 miles per hour across our local mountains. I will say mountains are pretty well equipped to handle those types of wind gusts. But even by the coast, we could get up to 20, even 30 miles per hour. Coastal communities don't exactly meet the qualifications. But inland and toward the mountains, we now have a wind advisory in effect. This was extended from what was previously a wind advisory that was set to expire at 1 p.m. yesterday. We had talked about how it was likely that we would see an extension of this. And what do you know? Now through Sunday, we'll be watching for those intense Santa Ana winds, especially through each afternoon stretch. So as you can see, that tan color on your screen is where those winds will be most intense. But be prepared for county-wide an uptick in those wind speeds this afternoon through the weekend. We're also getting a warm-up in the process. 65 out by the coast, 66 inland. Mountains stay a little cooler. In the meantime, here's a live look outside, getting toward that sunset in just about 45 minutes. Coming up, we'll talk more about what the weekend looks like and what we can expect going into next week. Vanessa Paz has a check of how things are looking on our chilly Friday morning. Hello.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be a gorgeous sunset. All right, look out for a crash, Hamishaw Road, right at the 125 North. It's not causing any slowing as of yet. Of course, it's still really early. We're barely entering the 6 o'clock hour. But if this starts to kind of build as far as the slowing goes, we'll let you know some alternate routes. But as of right now, it looks like we're at average speeds. But if you happen to drive by that crash, give them an extra lane or two if you can. All right, let's go ahead and give you a live look outside. This camera's still on night vision, but you get the deal. We're still smooth sailing coming in from the East County. That's the 8 right at College. And this is in the North County in both directions on the 5 right at Oceanside Boulevard. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. And now this morning, the FBI is investigating after a Border Patrol agent shot and wounded a man and woman in Portland, Oregon.
Homeland Security says it happened yesterday during a traffic stop targeting a vehicle whose driver and passenger have alleged ties to a notorious Venezuelan gang. DHS says the driver weaponized the vehicle and tried to run over the agents, and that the officer who fired the gun feared for his life. The city's mayor is demanding a halt to federal immigration operations in Portland until a full and independent investigation is complete. Meantime, the FBI has taken control of the investigation in Minneapolis, where an ICE agent shot and killed a woman. The incident is sparking protests nationwide. CBS News says the agent, Jonathan Ross, belonged to a specially trained tactical ICE unit based in Minneapolis. He's been on the job for more than a decade. The Trump administration is doubling down on its claim that Renee Good intended to hit Ross with her car. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz declared today a day of unity for Good. And San Diegans continue to make their voices heard. A peaceful protest was held downtown once again last night. Many in the crowd took issue with the federal government's stance that the ICE agent in Minneapolis fired in self-defense.
Not hurting anybody, threatening anybody. This is not an act of self-defense whatsoever. This was a senseless act of violence.
Doesn't matter what the situation was. It doesn't matter what she was doing. They're not supposed to be. Their job isn't to kill people.
Get ICE out of our cities. You are not welcome here. We do not support this whatsoever.
San Diego police tell us the department supports the constitutional right to peacefully assemble.
And this just in here this morning, U.S. employers added 50,000 jobs in December. That's according to new data from the Labor Department. The unemployment rate is now 4.4%, down slightly from November by 0.2%. We'll see how markets react when they open here in our next half hour. A traffic impact alert that you're going to want to know about here, especially those of you who cross the border. Right now, the second phase of a construction project near the San Ysidro Port of Entry is underway.
Could have a big impact on your commute here this morning. Phase 1, which closed 6 lanes of the freeway, just wrapped up a couple of hours ago. And CBS 8's Chris Groh live in San Ysidro. This new closure, Chris, could last several weeks.
Yeah, phase one might have been the most impactful when you talk about how many lanes were closed, about 6 in total. But phase two, now that that's underway, that's going to be going on for about 2 weeks' time. So today's January 9th. We're told January 23rd. So in 14 days is when we expect this to actually wrap up. Now, this is going to impact those who use the 5 southbound to cross the border. This is not going to impact those who will be driving northbound out of Mexico and into the U.S. This is going to be one inside lane there on the southbound 5. The closure is in the center median near the border inspection area. Crews will be removing speed humps there. This is going to be close to where, of course, a lot of that border security occurs. Temporary concrete barriers are being replaced with permanent dividers. According to Caltrans, CHP, this is all part of a multi-million-dollar project aimed at improving safety, security, and traffic flow. Now, access to Tijuana through the El Chaparral crossing will remain open at this time, but they do say to expect congestion because with fewer lanes and likely the same amount of people crossing, you are going to see that traffic build up. Delays are going to be expected. So CHP says try to find another route or just plan ahead and find extra time. The Otay Mesa port of entry is another alternative that you can use. Public transit too, if available. Now, at the same time, if you're going to continue to use the 5 southbound to cross into Mexico, you can expect extra traffic enforcement, and that's because crews are expected to be active in that area. Also, with so many people closer together, that congestion, they want to make sure that everyone's following the rules. Back to you in studio.
Thank you very much, Chris. That important information there. And a heads up to parents. San Diego Unified Schools will be closed on February 26th. Maybe you got this email as well. Mark that calendar. Teachers are planning a one-day strike. The San Diego Educator Association pushing for higher pay and better support for special education teachers. Superintendent Fabi Bagula says she made this announcement now to give families time to make other arrangements for their children that day. The makeup day for classes will be on March 9th, which was initially a planned day off for students.
All right, taking a peek outside here before that sun comes up. It's already starting to look beautiful there behind you.
That's the best part. Sunrise is technically 6:52, still about 45 minutes out, but nonetheless, we get these gorgeous yellow, pink, orange tones beaming on through as we start off the day. This is looking south, so off to the left-hand side is the easterly facing view, and there's Mission Bay, Mission Beach, lighting things up as the sun starts to come up. But again, this is kind of that twilight phase ahead of time. It's very dry out there. We're losing a lot of the cloud cover, which means the temperatures are chilly. Watch out for some 30s, even 20s out toward our mountains. It's mainly because those Santa Anas are making a big return. As we get toward the afternoon, Julian's a spot where we're likely to see mid-40, maybe even 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Those are the quick-moving 2 to 5 second bursts of wind versus your sustained speeds. Sustained speeds will be still in the 30 or so mile-per-hour range, which is very breezy for us. And that arrow now showing the direction of wind all coming from the east. Remember, yesterday that wind was coming from the west. That was cool, moist air from over the open ocean. Now we are transitioning to that dry desert air that's going to be moving in. If you're susceptible to really dry conditions, maybe in your throat or on your skin, that's where the lotion, extra water could all come in handy for the days ahead. It is 28 degrees right now up at Palomar Mountain, 26 at Mount Laguna, 42 in Ramona, 36 in Escondido, 37 in El Cajon. So as you make it toward our local mountains, very much a possibility that today we wake up to some patchy frost because vegetation can be sensitive, especially all the fresh vegetation that we just picked up on. 5-day forecast shows there is no end in sight for these Santa Anas, and it's only going to take us to warmer territory. This afternoon is kind of a day of transition, mid-60s or so. We jump quickly into the 70s as we get through Saturday and Sunday, and could even be in the 80s by the time we're at Tuesday of next week. Want to send things over to Vanessa Paz. She's checking in on traffic on this chilly Friday.
Oh yeah, chilly. A lot of folks probably using those seat warmers this morning, and I actually had to use mine for the first time in several months today as well. All right, we are tracking a crash close to the East County at Hamishaw Road involving a single vehicle. That's right where the Hamishaw Road exit meets the 125. As of right now, there are no major delays nor slowing. However, if you happen to travel by this crash, I would highly recommend that you give them an extra lane or two if possible. All right, we are seeing a lot of green across the traffic maps indicating Friday light. It's what we love to see. Here's a live look on the 8 in both directions right at College. Not much going on there. In from Oceanside, this is up in the north North County. Right side of your screen is that drive headed southbound in from Oceanside towards Carlsbad. Top of the screen is that drive headed towards Camp Pendleton, and you're in pretty good shape. Travel times right now anywhere between 10 to nearly 30 to get you southbound in from Encinitas as well as Escondido. Full span of the 78 inbound from Escondido all the way towards Oceanside, about a 15-minute ride. And here's a quick look at travel times in from the East County, anywhere between 5 to 7 minutes. Average speeds about 65 to 70 miles per hour. All right, 6:10 is the time on your Friday. Let's go ahead and pull up those border wait times, tracking about an hour 10 in from San Ysidro's port of entry to cross the border. About 20 minutes less than that in from Otay Mesa's port of entry at last check.